Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypherbox. So, reading a Sky Sports article, as you already know, the WBC have ordered Dillian Whyte to face Luis Ortiz to see who becomes the second mandatory challenger to Deontay Wilder's WBC belt. As you know, Dominic Breazeale is the mandatory challenger currently. What do I think of the fight? I think it's a good fight. I think it's finally an opportunity for Dillian Whyte to step up against a credible opponent. It'll be a real test for him. I think both these guys are going to bring it. I think it'll be a pretty exciting fight. Obviously, Dillian Whyte recently fought Lucas Browne, and although Dillian Whyte looked impressive in that fight, in my opinion, Lucas Browne isn't a top contender. You know, he was a guy who's fought like once a year. I think he's fought 3 times over the last 3 or 4 years before he fought Dillian Whyte. He didn't look like he was in shape, etc. I was very critical of Lucas Browne in terms of how he came into that ring. But, Dillian Whyte did what he had to do and he got him out of there in impressive fashion. But again, you want to see Dillian Whyte go up against, a top contender, and, Luis Ortiz is a top contender. Find it a bit strange that, Luis Ortiz is getting an opportunity so soon after, he's just recently fought Deontay Wilder for his WBC belt and lost. But, I'm not complaining as a fight fan. I think it's a great fight. Don't get too excited. This is not a fight. The winner of this fight isn't going to get into the ring straight away with Deontay Wilder. I think the winner will get their opportunity probably the latter part of this year or the beginning part of next year. Also, at the same time, as you know, Eddie Hearn, he's in New York this week. Tomorrow he'll be meeting with Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman to discuss Joshua versus Wilder. Hopefully they all, come to some sort of agreement. I'm hoping Eddie Hearn will see a bit of sense and, offer a percentage split. I did a video about percentage splits, how a percentage split works better than a flat fee. Go check that out. I broke it down and told you, gave you an example of a 70-30 split and how that would work across any amount of revenue that the fight makes, whether it's 20 million to 100 million, how it works for both fighters, etc. So go check that out if you haven't already. But like I said, I think this is a good fight. It's a good opportunity for Dillian Whyte as well, and obviously an opportunity for Luis Ortiz to get back in there and try and get a rematch with Deontay Wilder. Now, obviously, if the fight with AJ and Wilder can't be made and they can't reach an agreement, most likely from reports that I've been reading, Deontay Wilder will probably make a voluntary defense against Dominic Breazeale, which will kind of handle his mandatory challenger in that sense, his first mandatory challenger, which is Dominic Breazeale. So, like I said, you know what I mean? We've got some potential for some good fights to happen there. There's obviously a bit of beef between Dominic Breazeale and Deontay Wilder. A lot of people are probably going to slate the fact that if Deontay Wilder does fight Dominic Breazeale, but don't forget, AJ fought Dominic Breazeale. You didn't have a problem with that. So if a deal can't be reached between AJ and Wilder, then Deontay Wilder needs to keep himself busy. And it looks like, from what I'm hearing, he may face Dominic Breazeale next, which I haven't got a problem with either. I think, but I definitely think the Dillian Whyte and Luis Ortiz fight is a really good fight. I look forward to seeing that one. Finding it a little weird how the WBC seem to be doing these backup mandatory challenges nowadays. If you go and go back a few months and you look at what they did in the welterweight division, so obviously Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, put himself in a position where he was the mandatory challenger to Keith Thurman's WBC belt. But then, they decided to make Danny Garcia the number 2 mandatory challenger to Keith Thurman's WBC belt. And then they decided to mandate a fight between Sean Porter and Danny Garcia, if I remember right. And the winner would face Keith Thurman for his WBC belt. So I don't know if this is like a new thing for the WBC, but look, end of the day, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining as long as great fights are being made. At the same time, you know, Dillian Whyte also has been mandated to face Kubat Pulev by the IBF, and that's a final eliminator to see who becomes Anthony Joshua's mandatory challenger to his IBF belt. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. As always, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.